Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Molly. I'm the founder, owner, operator, everything for Lacquer 22, a small nail polish company. But today I have the new Blend Bunny and Ellis Atlantis collab. I haven't even taken it out of the bubble wrap yet, but I'm so excited. Trying out the palette, trying out blushes. Let's get started. All right, I already have the blushes in front of me. I'm just gonna go ahead and start with that. This packaging is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so this is the Solar Flare Dimension palette. Mainly cheeks, mainly blush. I'm gonna assume that you can probably use this around the eyes as well, because I'm assuming that they're super pigmented like the Blend Bunny eyeshadows are. Here is the actual component itself. It's just the inverse of the outer carton. I'm so in love with this packaging. It feels edgy and it feels fun, and I am just a huge fan of it. Ooh. Okay. I feel like this shade was looking a lot more toned down in all the promo pictures. Okay. This is bright. This is going to be interesting. I'm a little bit scared because I haven't tried the Blend Bunny blushes before. And so I am just a little bit scared of the pigmentation there, but we'll find out together, I guess. So we've got the same, oh, hello, my setup. We have the same outer packaging here with the silver and then the black marking. And then again, the inverse for the actual palette itself. Okay. And we've got Ellis on the back here. Okay. Oh, that's cute. There's little, yeah, you can see it. The little shiny black stars kind of scattered. I really, really like that. That's a beautiful touch. All right, opening, moment of truth. Okay. We've got a good sized mirror in here. And there she is in all her glory. All right, so this palette has caused a little bit of commotion because essentially Blend Bunny just made another blends palette. And I like kind of agree, because I do feel like it's a little bit unnecessary. I will be doing some swatches to see the differences, because supposedly Ellis worked very hard to make sure that all the undertones were different from previous Blend Bunny palettes. Now, I'm not super sold on that, because yeah, they might be different in the pan. They're probably not going to look all that different on the eye. But we're going to see. Like the orange row for sure is definitely different. The neutrals, the brownie neutrals are definitely different than these right there. Like there's some obvious differences. But we'll see what they actually are when they're swatched out. I also grabbed my Primal palette. Now this is not available anymore, but if you have it from when it was available, you can kind of compare here for a minute. The purple row in Primal is definitely different, as well as the periwinkle row for sure. And then there's some similarities with everything else, just not really the shimmers. I absolutely did not need this. Okay, and I'm aware of that. However, I really, really love pairing the Noctilucent palette with the Blends palette. And so this was just an all-in-one, and I think that's really fantastic, because it seems like 4 of the 5 shimmers in the Ellis palette have that translucent base, which I love so, so much. So fingers crossed for that. I think we should just kind of go in and get started. Let's do this. I'm gonna set my eyes, or prep my eyes, and then I will zoom in and we'll get started. Okay, we are primed and ready, and here's the peel off for the mirror. Love doing that. Okay, so I'm trying to decide what am I going to do for this. I feel like the reds could be fun. I'm thinking when I'm back, I definitely want to do a neutral with a pastel, because I really love incorporating pastels that way, but that's kind of the only way. I've seen a lot of really good looks with abstraction, which is this like murky color right here in the yellow row. Okay, I'm overthinking this way too much. I'm gonna do a bluish green, no, I'm not. I'm gonna do more of a kind of berry look today, or for this first one, and then I'm just gonna use the shade Flare in the palette that has more of that pink tone, and then we'll play with the orange and red blush when I'm back. All right, so I'm gonna start in the shade Ecliptic, which is this one on the red row right there, and take that on a pencil brush. Okay, so this is how we have Ecliptic kind of laid down just as a starting point. And I think I'm actually gonna go into the shade called Energized, which is more of this like super vibrant coral peach shade. And I'm just gonna place that all over the lid and kind of have more of an orangey contrast to that berry shade. Okay, so there's Energized on the lid. I'm gonna go in with Ecliptic again, the darker shade, and kind of touch up a little bit. Okay, so that's kind of the mattes laid out there. Pretty simple, but now we're gonna go into the shimmer, and we have, we'll see if it picks up or not. So these top four are supposed to be, they called it something. It's like a shimmer veil or something like that. And this top one definitely has more of a green pool, and then Deity here has a pink and purple, and then Transcend is more of a red pink, but I can't really tell what Ethereal is. So let's see. Just white? Okay, just white. I think I'm actually going to use Ethereal, so the one we just swatched, as my shimmer today. Gonna go in with the NYX glitter glue as always. Alrighty, going in with Ethereal here. And I guess this one isn't a veil. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I definitely don't feel like Ethereal is one of those veil shades. I feel like it kind of covers up what I had going on. So I feel like that peach color is kind of gonzo now. It's fine of a color. I feel like the mattes were good, and I liked both of those shades, but Ethereal, I don't think this is the look for Ethereal. I am going to redo Ecliptic on the outer corner, maybe add some black, we'll see. Essentially finish what I can of my eyes, and then I guess most of my face. We'll come back and do blush together. See you in a second. Okay, so everything on my face is done except for blush. Again, I'm scared. I put some of the Ecliptic shade on my lower lash line. That's what that is. The shimmer shade is starting to grow on me a little bit. I feel like it's kind of melted in a little bit more, and so it doesn't look like it's just white shimmer on top, which honestly, like, I've had that experience with nail polish with just white shimmer, so I get it. I don't know. I don't think it's meant for this look, that shimmer shade, but I think it'll be pretty on other looks. So I will have to keep experimenting with that. Okay, let's get into the blush. Again, I'm scared. I'm going to be using the shade Flare, so this is the more pinky one. You can kind of see, at least I think you can see, that the shade that I put on my lid, that matte, it's kind of gone. It's kind of covered up now, so you can't really see it. So I don't want to go too orange. I'm going to stay here with the pink shade. And this is the shade called Flare in this trio. And I'm just going to start with one little tap and see what happens. Okay, going back in. Okay. And one more, 3 times the charm. Okay, I think that is a good amount of pigmentation. I feel like this is a really pretty kind of covering of blush. I know that Ellis wanted the 3 different shades so that you can have a contoured cheek. Other than like contour, you can have the dimension in your blush as well. I will never use it that way, I can guarantee you. I like the idea and I think that's really fun, but that's just not super realistic for how I do my makeup. If you can't tell, I have a stuffy nose right now. My voice is a little different than normal. Okay, I think I got too confident. I used too much on the other side. Oh well, it'll wear off a little bit. Okay, so this is our first look. My lips are just the ColourPop lip liner in Oh Snap. I love that as a kind of pinky nude. I'm so far feeling, I think the mattes have been working same as all other mattes have from Blend Bunny. Granted, I've only used 2. I ended up not using the black, not needing it. We're gonna try a little bit more craziness for the last 2 looks, but we'll see how that goes. The ethereal shimmer, again, not my favorite yet. I want to play around with it a little bit more, see how it looks, how I feel when it's put over different colors instead of this kind of like orangey coral, whatever. I will say I wish that the orange row was more orange. It feels very red, or very pink. Like I feel like that's kind of the only orange we have, the nuclear. So I don't love that. Orange is my favorite, so I'm a little picky. But I really like the gross shade right there. I really like this green shade Specimen. There's a lot of pretty stuff happening in here, but we will continue this in just a minute. Transitioning into a few hours later. Okay, we have fast forwarded a couple hours now. I'm in a different shirt. I took off my previous eyeshadow so that we can have a blank slate, fresh start for the next look. And I think I'm still doing what I said previously, the blue and green, and then I will do a neutral with the pastel. And I'm thinking the pastel is going to be lavender. Let's see. So something I noticed when doing the first look is, okay, obviously this is a big palette, and mirrors are heavier than just plain cardboard. This was hurting my hand trying to hold this up for the mirror, the last look. It would be great if like you're traveling with it and this is the only mirror you have. However, to actually use it became a little painful. Maybe I'm just weak, but something to note. Alright, for the green and blue look, I'm going to take a combo of these 2 shades here, so Membrane and then Nebula, and I'm going to zoom in as well, but those 2 shades are going to go on the outer corner. Okay, so I'm liking that so far, and I will say this has already had a little bit less fallout than the Blends palette has had with the blues. I had so much fallout, I think it was last week maybe when I used the blue section in the blends. it was a lot. A lot. Alrighty, I'm gonna go into the shade. I'm gonna go into the shade right here called Vortex. And something just to note, like I don't feel like both of those shades are necessary. I don't feel like both of those shades are necessary. I do see the slight differences in them. I don't think you need them. Okay, going in with Vortex with a small blender brush. We're just gonna kind of buff this out a little bit. Okay, I feel like that's a good amount of blue. It's definitely a lot though. So for the green, what I want to do is take the shade Specimen, which is the shade I pointed out earlier in the video. That one right there, it looks beautiful. I love shades like that. So I'm gonna go in and kind of put that all over the lid and then make sure it's high enough in the crease up here that you can see it, and try to just make it a little cohesive, I guess, with the blues that we have. Alrighty, so this is where we are so far. I think it looks really nice. Oh, you're seeing some blendy things that I'm not seeing. I'm gonna go in and try to deepen up the lash line part, so just the lower bit. And I'm gonna use the shade The Void. It's the black shade, down over here, just to kind of add some depth. And then I'm gonna take the shade Supernova. So this is the green veil shimmer, whatever it is, and I'm just gonna kind of put that everywhere. So I'm not too worried about the blend here between the green and the blue, but I am worried about the outward blend, so I'm going to fix that. Going in now with Supernova. Okay, so this is very similar to Noctilucent, which I love. So looking straight on, you can see the shimmer. However, if I shift this way, you're gonna stop seeing the shimmer and you're gonna start seeing that matte again. It's like the shimmer's kind of disappearing. Very cool, very neat. I'm so happy that they have this in an eyeshadow palette now instead of just the Noctilucent palette. I'm gonna go back in, make sure the area around the shimmer is flush and blended well with the mattes, and then we are gonna start on the other eye. Okay, I added the Void to the lash line over here, and I really think that just made such a big difference. I love it even more. We're gonna go move on to this eye now, and this is gonna be a neutral, so we're gonna be using these shades here. I'm really happy that these are more of the kind of taupey tones. I feel like in blends, the warmer neutrals are just so warm, and I feel like this is kind of toned down a bit, and I really appreciate that. So we're gonna start with Voyage, the one that's in the bottom corner. I'm grabbing Descend now, and this is the color that is right next to Voyage on that same row. So we started with Voyage right here. I just added Descend, and now I'm gonna go into Harmony, this one, and kind of blend everything out. And then we will add the purple on the inner part of the lid. Okay, I think this is a pretty good starting place for now. I think it's blended out fairly well. I'm gonna go in with the purple, but I'm pretty positive I'm gonna want to go back in with those darker shades anyway. So I'm gonna take the lightest one called Illusion right there, and that's just going all over the lid. I'm gonna go into Presence now. It's the purple that's right next to the one we just used. The one we just used just doesn't, it's not showing up enough for me. Notice how many times I keep hitting my tripod because of how huge this palette is, and I'm just not used to it. Okay, I think that's much better. I feel like I don't want a shimmer for this look, but I might just go ahead and do it. I would probably leave it if I was going out or going to work or whatever. But since I'm not, since I'm just chilling at home, I might as well. For the shimmer for this eye, I'm going to go in with Deity. It's there. It's hard to see, but it's more of a purpley pink, or I guess more purple blue shimmer. But this is supposed to be another one of the veils, like the green that we used. Okay, adding that shimmer, while it's pretty, definitely messed with the look itself. It's not what I wanted anymore. It's okay. It's still pretty. I like the shimmer. I just wanted more of the purple, but I chose to do this. It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna go and finalize my eyes, get my lashes on, blah, blah, blah. Probably go ahead and just do the lower or the under eye. I'll use the neutrals for this eye and the blues for that eye. And then we'll come back and experiment with the blushes. Okay, so the eyes are finished. Lashes just make everything, don't they? It's now time to play with the blush trio. I will say I still have some of my other blush on, but I was touching my face a lot, so I think I rubbed off a lot of just my face makeup in general. That's okay, this is just for funsies. I'm not wearing it out. I'm not worried about, how perfect it looks, or even if it matches my eyes, because it's not going to. We're just trying the trio out. So I'm gonna start with Heat in the middle, the orange one, and we'll go from there, see what happens. This time I'm starting with 2 in the pan. I like that. I think that's fun. That's definitely bolder than what I usually do, but I think that's fun. I think that's a good color. We're gonna move on now to the red blush called Scorched. This one I'm scared of, but you know what? I was scared of the like Glam Light and Ghostface one, and that was red. So I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. Ooh, maybe not. Okay, so I knew going into it that Scorched was going to be my least favorite. Obviously I overdid it, which I should have been able to say, okay, this is the darkest one. Maybe don't go in with the 2 taps into the pan like you did with the medium one. So I think I could kind of shear it out a little bit more and I would like it a little bit better. But I really like these 2. I think the orange is really, really pretty. And then the shade was a nice, like kind of everyday color for me, flare from my first look that I did. Okay. Wow. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of transition now into some of my more final thoughts. I do definitely want to address the fact that this is another rainbow palette from Blend Bunny. I understand that that is kind of her main, like her target audience, I guess, which is totally fine. I personally am not a huge rainbow person, and now I have 2 from the same brand. It's good quality. I'm fine with it. But I think that we could have gone about this in a different way. And I do understand that Blend Bunny really tries to cater to more working makeup artists. I'm sorry you have to listen to me say this while my cheeks look so insane. She caters more towards working makeup artists, which is the whole reason for having the 3 different depths of one shade in the palette. However, I feel like we could have done something different. I'm gonna pop up some I don't even know what to call them. I made it on Canva in truly maybe 5 minutes. And these are just some ideas that I think Blend Bunny should consider exploring. So this first one is just kind of an example of what could have been done instead of a full rainbow. I understand that Ellis's work uses the rainbow a lot. This is so similar to the blends palette. And I really think what we could have done instead is maybe just take, like in this picture, for example, take 5 of Ellis's favorite colors to use and just done it that way. And I mean, even just looking at this, like these aren't necessarily colors that fully go together, but you can still make some really fun looks out of it. I got this color story just on Pinterest. I just looked up a color story because I needed something just quick. But I feel like even this is a cute color story. I still really like it. I would buy this as a palette if they released it. And I did kind of like what Sugar and Grunge did, where the shimmers, which is the top row for my little mock-up that I did, the shimmers don't line up with the matte row, and I think it's fun. I think we could have just kind of curated the palette down a little bit for what Ellis's favorite colors are. That way we just have something a little different and it's not Blends 2.0. Let me also say I'm enjoying the palette a lot. I'm really happy that we have Noctilucent pretty much in the blends palette. Like, it's a really fun combination. I'm really happy it's in one palette instead of 2. But I think there were different approaches that could have been taken with the collaboration itself. To my next mock-up, so this one I kind of did like the orange and blue color story. So the Into the Springs from ColourPop and the Frosted Flakes from Glamlight. I just thought, oh, okay, this is those are both really good summer palettes. So I just put them into what I felt was a good Blend Bunny layout. We can still have a proper blend, but we can still limit and have smaller palettes as well. I mean, I came up with doing these, so I feel like obviously I like them. But like even if Blend Bunny started doing smaller palettes that weren't the entire rainbow, that were only 4 shades, I think that it could go over very well. I don't absolutely love this color story, but it's just an idea. And another option, I think we could have done, or could still do, some monochromatic palettes, because obviously we love grouping our colors, you know. We like to have our greens with our greens, our blues with our blues, and I think that's fantastic. So here's one that I put together with greens, and I have it in 3 different columns. So the first one is more like your mint and Kelly greens, and then the middle is more your sage and emerald, and then the outer one is your lime and olive. I know I mentioned 2 colors for each column. That's just kind of how it was put together. It's still based on the idea of just having the 3 colors and having 3 depths of those 3 colors. But then I also made a version where we have some shimmers thrown in. So I think that could be cool too. I really enjoy Blend Bunny. I support Blend Bunny fully. I think they do some really great things. I think we can mix it up a little bit, and while keeping the Blend Bunny core, having those 3 depths. I just think we can change things up a little bit. We don't have to have a full rainbow every time. We don't need to have the same brights every time, you know. And I mean, all the other palettes from the lineup make sense and are different. I just feel like this one specifically, we're kind of repeating some things. I am still gonna do the swatches, and when I say the swatches, I'm comparing them. So I'm comparing Ellis with blends, and I'm gonna compare the shimmers with Noctilucent as well. But that's kind of it. I think this blush trio is beautiful. I think I will actually get a lot of use out of it once I practice a little bit more with the Blend Bunny formula, because it is much more pigmented than I'm used to. And I do plan on picking up the pink one, but I'm just gonna get that on a sale instead. I didn't need it. I don't need this one either, but I prefer warmer blushes typically over cooler blushes, so I was like, I'll just, you know, I'll get that at a later date. I do think this palette is beautiful. I think there's a lot to it. Again, I really am so happy with this neutral row, much more than the blends palette. I mean, I already mentioned some repetitive shades in the blue and teal section up here. There's also some kind of crossover in the red and orange section as well that I don't love. If we're gonna have a palette this big, make every shade worth it. That's kind of my biggest gripe, is that we have some repeats. And again, I do see the differences, the very slight differences when looking at the palette. It's not going to translate like that differently on the eye. It really won't. So I think we could have just kind of pared down a little bit. Again, I'm not knocking the collection. I feel like I have to make that very clear. I think it's really good. I think it's good quality. I do enjoy having the veil shimmers and the blends mattes all in one. I really appreciate that. It's just not, I don't feel like it adds a whole lot to the Blend Bunny line. I think the blush trios absolutely do, because I feel, well, I personally, I know I didn't really want the 8 pan of the Juicy Cheeks or the Bare Cheeks, I think. I don't want an 8 pan face palette. Trio's perfect. Perfect. Please let me know what you think of the palette, the collection as a whole. The lash clusters, I just don't wear clusters, I wear stripped lashes. The cheek glaze looks really pretty. I just don't need another highlighting product because I just don't wear highlighter very often. And then I have the big palette and the orange trio, and I told you I'm gonna get the pink trio later. I think overall the collection was really good. I just think we can change it up a little bit, you know? And maybe I'm the only one that thinks that. You tell me what you think. That's all I've got for you. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye.